Welcome and thank you for listening to the Without Judgment Coaching Podcast, where we dive into coaching for neurodivergent, high-achieving women who are ready to unlock their potential, regain their passion for work, and live the life that aligns with your dreams. I am Virginie, your host. I'm a life and career coach, and I believe that your career should be more than just a paycheck. In my business, I help my clients who suffer from chronic stress and who feel on the verge of burnout make strong decisions so they can lead the lives they want. Often, it seems like they've got it all on the surface, and yet, inside of them, there is this nagging little voice saying it's not enough. I'm here to share with you all the tips and tools that I've gathered over the years to help you see that you're not alone and that you can be in charge of what's going on in your brain. Tell yourself a different story to change the way you feel and show up in the world. It all starts with our thoughts. And that's good news because you can choose what you think on purpose. You can decide what you don't want to believe when it doesn't serve you. And in each episode, I'll teach you how to be on your side so that you can be successful in your own way. I am a life coach on a mission to get you to discover how to live the life you deserve. So hold my hand and let's go. Hello everyone and welcome to Without Judgment, episode 25. Today we're going to talk about a couple of things, but mostly imperfection and difference and how we can navigate feeling different or feeling imperfect and surviving it and even maybe looking for it for growth purposes. I don't know about where you live, but where I'm at, it's really starting to get warmer these days. And that inspired my episode for you today. When I talk about imperfection and how we can grow from surviving being imperfect, I thought about the relationship that a lot of women have with their bodies. And I just thought of something that I noticed last year when going to the river to swim with my family. And I noticed there were a lot of more men than women in the river. And I could be completely wrong. I don't have any idea why the women didn't want to go in the river. But it made me think of something that I thought was interesting to share with you. And that is our relationship with our bodies. We tend to have that idea of what a perfect body for us is. And I think it might stop some of us from enjoying what we would like to enjoy, like going into the river when it's a very warm day outside. So I find that interesting because I was also listening to Brooke Castillo this week in one of the coaching call I saw, and I heard her say, I could never hate my body enough to make me skinny. And I found that fascinating that it is true, we can't hate ourselves or punish ourselves to get the best result out of us. We can try to shame, we can try to go and fear a punishment of some sort, but even if it gets us some result, I think we all need to realize that it's never going to be the best that we can come up with if we are in that kind of emotion, because a part of us won't be as creative as when we are really owning our confidence and trusting that we can do this. So talking about that and now reframing it more for something in the workplace, it's kind of a similar situation at work when you're in a meeting and you have something to share, but you keep it for yourself because you don't quite dare to raise your hand and participate. And feeling different and imperfect, I think, is especially true and happening a lot for all of us neurodivergent people. And it can even lead to a lot of ruminating during when we're thinking about something we can share, or after, and kind of blaming us for not sharing it, or for not being more like going into comparison mode and thinking that we could have done that and we didn't, and feeling shame from not daring. So today I want to bring you a little challenge of an easy challenge with 3 steps, which is to thinking about a very specific example from this week or this month of when you felt especially self-conscious and you didn't do the thing. So if I go back to this example of being in a meeting and not daring to raise your hand to share your ideas, think about how it felt. Really identify it for yourself. What was it about? Was it that you were afraid of being inadequate, that maybe people wouldn't find what you had to say interesting enough? Was it just to have all the attention on you, or being afraid of feeling embarrassed if someone said something about what you had to share? Number 2 is to remember how it felt. Now that you've named this feeling of either fear or inadequacy or embarrassment or whatever it was for you, remember how it felt very clearly in your body. Was your heart racing really fast? Were you maybe becoming sweaty? Were your muscles getting tense? Was your breath getting shallow? How does it manifest for you? It can be different from person to person. And the point of this exercise is to know, next time this happens, to identify it as, oh, I know that, I remember, this is just me being self-conscious. No big deal. Or still a big deal, but I know how to navigate that. And that's leading me to my 3rd step for you, is to prepare for those instances and think about what's the worst that could happen. What is the worst that can happen if I raise my hand in that meeting and share something and someone doesn't find it interesting enough? Or what's the worst that can happen and I share my idea and I don't quite make the point that I wanted to make? People have a hard time to understand it. Or what's the worst that can happen? Is it that people are not listening to me? Think about really what would be the worst for you. And then realize that it's just a feeling. It's just very uncomfortable. And now that you have those 3 steps to prepare yourself for the next time, I want you to think about what would happen if you went through that discomfort. What doors would open in a way if you dared? All right, that's all I've got for you today. I hope you have a beautiful weekend, and let me know either by email or reach out to me on social media, on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Facebook, and tell me if you dared to do something you didn't feel competent enough last week to do. I wish you a beautiful weekend, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye. Thank you for listening today. If you like what you heard, you have to go to the website without-judgment-coaching.com and click on the link to book a free 30-minute discovery call with me. You can also find the link on my Instagram bio if you prefer that. I will show you how to reframe the stories going on in your head to serve you and get everything you want, whether it's a new job, a new hobby, or new relationships. Together we can decide if and how I can help you become your best advocate to live the life that you want. I can't wait to see you.